So this is the latest Remnant Fly. Turned out to be kind of a stimulator looking thing. Originally was even kind of thinking of a Bivisible. We've got to thinking about doing some sort of a dry fly, whether it's a panfish fly or terrestrial for trout or something like that. But this was looking at different materials and ran across the dry fly hackles, and one thing led to another. Originally, I was thinking more of a Bivisible kind of chunky Bivisible pattern, but like I said, it kind of turned out more of like a stimulator. That is the latest Remnant Fly. I'll get started time. Start the latest Remnant Fly with my hook on the vise. This is a TMCO 200R. See, this is probably about a size 8, maybe a 6. A little bit big for an 8, but I'm going to go with a 6, I think. And this is going to be just kind of a, like I said, kind of a dry fly kind of thing is what I was going for this. I'm going to attach my thread. For thread, I'm going to use a Danville 6/0 in black. I'll go ahead and add some wax to my thread to help give it a little bit more grip to it. And I'm going to attach my thread just about an eye length behind the eye of the hook. Run it down here to just about the point of the hook. So like I said in the introduction, this is kind of a Bivisible looking kind of thing. I was thinking of some sort of a dry fly / terrestrial whatnot when I ran across these materials, and wanted to give it a bit of a tail, a body, and a dry fly hackle to just have it float on the surface. It's going to be kind of an attractor pattern. Anyway, looking at the different tail materials, I ran across a number of things. Some Mallard flank looked really good. I wanted something, had some contrast to it, some color, and I thought maybe some wood duck colored Mallard flank. Had settled on a fluorescent chartreuse, but then ran across this fluorescent yellow and decided that I liked that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to strip away some of this fluff here from the rest of the feather. I'm going to clip out just a little bit of the center right here. What I'm looking for are just these longer, stiffer fibers to kind of support this as a tail. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a little dry fly thing. Then I'm going to collect all that together into a little bit of a post for a tail. Doesn't have to be that thick, but we're kind of going with a kind of a buggy looking terrestrial kind of thing. I'm going to go down the bend just a little bit to get that tail sticking out. I'll trim off the excess here. Now, this is going to be made with a brown and a white hackle. Like I said, it's kind of got that whole Bivisible thing going for it. I don't even know if that's going to be quite long enough, but we'll see. So I'm going to tie in the brown right now. Securing that in, I'm going to start doing some dubbing. Actually, I'm going to wrap up here just to secure that, and that just collects it on down and come back. And now I'm going to do some dubbing. For dubbing, I ran across a little sample pack of this Senyo's laser hair dubbing. Never worked with this stuff before. I've seen it. It's been out for a while. This is, like I said, a sample, and it doesn't have the color listed, but it's definitely kind of a bright orange, tangerine orange looking stuff. All I really want to do here is to just dub on not a super thick dubbed body. Part of the reason I chose this, I looked at some chenille potentially for the body and some other things, and I chose this because it's a synthetic. This fly is going to have some sort of floatant added to it. Otherwise, after a few fish, it's going to get slimed and dirty and it's not going to float too well. So you're going to want to put some floatant on this when you first start. And I figured the synthetic will also help it to not absorb water. Of course, you could also change up your tailing material and go with something synthetic, maybe even a little stiffer, as opposed to that mallard flank, because that mallard flank will probably absorb a little bit of water. But if you put some floating on here ahead of time, then you'll probably keep that from at least absorbing as much, and you'll get it to float a little bit longer. Of course, then again, who knows? It's a remnant fly. It's just slapped together with some stuff, and it's an idea. It may not float that well, or may float great, but still not catch any fish. So I'm going to palmer this, or not palmer, I'm going to wrap this in to almost maybe 3/4 up the length of the hook here. Now I'm going to wrap in the brown hackle. So at this point, I'm just going to stop here because I want to split the hackle up between mostly a brown and then a white up in front, like I said, similar to the Bivisible. I'm going to actually flip this over. Be a little easier for me to wrap this in. I'm going to grab this with my hackle pliers. If you've ever tied a stimulator, that's kind of what I'm going for here. I don't necessarily want it as tight as a Bivisible, but I'm just going with pretty close wraps. May end up even looking and being more like a stimulator when all is said and done. Not a bad idea, because you could easily just put a wing on this right now, and essentially that's what you'd have as a stimulator or even a sofa pillow. So cleaning that up a little bit, I'm going to now tie in the white hackle. Going back to my dubbing. You could, like I said, this is actually kind of more of a stimulator type fly, but you could change this up with a different color dubbing if you wanted, or different lighting situations. Bivisible, that's part of the reason it was originally created, was that the brown and the white gives you better clarity in different lighting situations. I got just a little bit of that hair trap there, so I'm going to stroke that back, come down here, wrap that in, bring that down and around. A little bit right there. End up right behind the eye. There you go. Here I'm going to go ahead and put in a few extra wraps for, matter of fact, I want to undo that, and I want to get that first wrap a little bit further back up against the brown. In this case, this hackle, the barbs are a little bit longer than the brown, but I think it'll work. Bring that right around here. Wrap or two to secure that, and then I will put in a 3 or 4 turn whip finish. Secure that a little bit more, and some head cement. Kind of interesting. Like I said, I ran across the hackles, and I was thinking, it'd be kind of nice to do a dry fly kind of thing. And I ran across the hook, and I wasn't certain if I wanted a panfish kind of thing or trout kind of attractor kind of thing. And just, I don't know, it's the idea I came up with. And looking back on it now, it is much more like a stimulator, I think, than a bivisible, other than it has the brown hackles and the white hackles like a bivisible would be. So that is the latest Remnant Fly, something thrown together with some leftover materials. We'll have to see how that one does this summer. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.